Watching The Real Entrepreneur. It's Mike Michalowicz here, the author of those books behind me. And I am reviewing different movies, TV shows, and videos around entrepreneurship and giving you my feedback. Today, we're looking at the worst advice people have got. And we're going to see actually two videos kind of combined together. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Gary Vaynerchuk. So let's dig right on in. Oh, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Thank you.
What's been the worst piece of advice you've gotten along the way?
Oh, there's no bad advice. It's only bad advice if you listen to it. I always take advice because you never know. It might even be exactly what you shouldn't do.
You listen to all of it, because sometimes you just need to know the opposite of what you should do.
And then it's up to me what I do with that information.
That's a great,
right? Because you never know.
Yeah.
Or if it's someone you go like, wow, I really don't want to do what you're doing. So please tell me everything you've done so I know not to do it.
All right, so we're pitting Sarah Michelle Gellar versus Gary Vaynerchuk here, but I want to give you my feedback on Sarah. She said there's no such thing as bad advice. It's only what you follow. I love that feedback because what I believe is we need to look for common threads. Taking singular advice from another person or another source exclusively can trigger confirmation bias. Oh, that's what I thought to be true, therefore it's confirming what I'm thinking to be true. It's important to listen to the counterpoint. That's actually why we're doing this video. Listen to one idea, but listen to another idea that's a total juxtaposition to the other one that's counter to your natural beliefs. Keep doing that and look for the common threads. There's a certain thing that will resonate with you over time and say, oh, that is at least my truth, and you should act upon it. So I really like Michelle Gellar. Sarah Michelle Gellar, you're going to get a lot of advice out there. It is up to us to choose what advice is good. Let's see what Gary says.
What is the worst advice you've received along the way?
Almost everything anybody's ever told me. Advice is bad unless it's
almost everything is bad
and you really dig deep. Most people like to give advice without context. The best advice only comes from the people closest to you and the ones that actually have your best interest in mind, not theirs. That means almost nobody, because that means everybody's on the outside, and a lot of times the people on the inside, I mean mommy and daddy, are giving you advice in their best interest, not yours.
So how do you differentiate?
I just don't listen to anybody.
So Gary Vaynerchuk ends like, I just don't listen to anybody. I doubt that is true. He took his father's established, I think it was a wine cellar or wine store, and grew it. I strongly suspect there was a lot of advice and direction that Gary Vaynerchuk got from his father. So I don't believe that. Now, he likes to make those brash comments. I'd listen to no one. I do nothing in the norm. But I don't know if that's factually true. I actually would dispute that immediately. But he does make some excellent points in that there is a bias for all advice giving, including what I'm sharing with you. I want this to be of service to you, but what's my gain? I want to further the exposure of the work I'm doing. So there is definitely a reason I'm just sharing stuff. So understand what is the intent of the person that's giving advice, what's their intent behind it, and put that bias in. When I became an author and wrote my first book, before I actually published it, I was asking people about advice on writing books. Most people said, are you crazy? You can't make a penny doing it. Here's the counter question I asked. Tell me about the book you wrote. Almost all of them said, I've never written a book. Discount people who haven't been there and done that, in my opinion. But when I did find people say, don't write a book, it's risky, and they had written a book, I asked them why and learned. But I also ran into a fellow, Tim Ferriss. I was doing a TV show on CNBC, and Tim Ferriss was doing the same show, and we met up in the green room by chance. I asked him, I said, hey, can you make money writing a book? He's like, are you kidding me? It can be your best path. And I learned in the 30 or 40 minutes we spent together in the green room, great ideas to do that. So seek advice from people who've been there and done that. And to Gary's point, listen to your intuition on their own selfish motives behind it. But we all need to take advice from others, including Gary Vaynerchuk. All right, there's my feedback on what's the worst advice you ever got? And I'm curious about your worst advice. I invite you to go to mikemichalowicz.com/question. You can share that, your worst advice. Maybe we can make that into a video. I'd love to hear what videos you also want to see, so tell me there. Or if you have a question for me, I'd love to answer it. Also, hit that notification bell, push the subscribe button, or maybe it's the reverse, but the subscribe button and the notification bell, but whatever. Do those things, and that way you won't miss a single episode of The Real Entrepreneur. I'm wishing you tremendous success.